We shall start this Friday, this beautiful Friday, with some tears.
It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not.
Next time, plus we were in the margin of blow me.
That right there, of course, was only just a little bit of Jon Stewart, Jimmy Kimmel, and Stephen Colbert. We will further break down what happened the other night, or we will further break down what happened to them the other night. Because obviously the orange man getting elected president has obviously hurt these people's feelings. Now, guys, real quick. Right now, I am playing for you guys in the B-roll footage, Jimmy Kimmel's full bit. I'll play the full bit in a second, but due to ABC's copyright scheme, or the way YouTube decides they want to report how copyright works, or I don't know how that works, I'm going to put a header over it. But we'll definitely get to that here in a second. Late night TV has been dead for a very long time. All right, it has been gone. I would say it died really the minute Jay Leno was replaced with Jimmy Fallon, because Jimmy Fallon is just not funny in my opinion. I understand I may upset some people, but the guy's just not funny. David Letterman, he was gone basically in the early 2000s. You could pretty much forget about him. He was already pretty, for the most part, dead and buried. Conan O'Brien was still around. He was okay, but Conan O'Brien did the smart thing. He stayed away from politics for the most part. But then again, though, Conan did kind of get back into it for a little bit. Then I guess he realized that it wasn't a good idea to do so. Then now he's just kind of doing his own thing. But the fact of the matter is that the people that they have replaced him with, whether they be, what's that guy's name? Seth Meyers? Yeah, that guy there, he's an idiot. And you got John Cooper, another idiot. Which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I don't think it's a good idea for people who are not from the United States to constantly complain about the United States and the United States leadership. A great example of this would be this short, fat Canadian that, of course, I'm showing you guys some tweets of here in the description box. Yeah, short, fat Canadians, Canucks, should probably not be allowed to comment on U.S. affairs. But for the time being, I'll digress on certain nations people come from where they just comment on the U.S. because obviously the United States is nothing more entertainment to these people. But then again, though, they probably also watch Kimmel, Colbert, and Jon Stewart, and whoever the hell else is out there. Still, if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. Please go ahead and hit the like button if you guys are a subscriber to the channel, so that way the video will go ahead and take off in the algorithm. Also, cut the notifications bell on so that way you guys are notified when I release the content. And let's go ahead and get to it. So, Jimmy Kimmel, for, I would say, the better part of 10 years, because it really started back in 2013, 2014 timeframe, when he started to get political, more and more political on his show. Jimmy Kimmel has decided to point all of his ire at us good old-fashioned Trump voters. You know, the working class, the uneducated is what they say. We'll get to that here in a second, even though education has no correlation with informed, because it's typically the working class who's better informed. The reason why they're better informed is not just because they know what news outlets to go to, but also to go on top of that, they're the ones who are actually living in the environment that is, of course, the Biden economy. The funny thing about Biden, he gave a speech yesterday where he said Trump would be inheriting a good economy. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but the price of eggs is like 3 times what it was when Trump was in office. The price of gas, it actually shot back up today. And I went down the road, it's like $3.12 a gallon. Normally it's supposed to go down in the wintertime, but I'm pretty sure you guys can already see that, yeah, prices are up. The economy is not that great. As a matter of fact, people in California, they woke up and realized, wait a minute, this raising the minimum wage to like $17 an hour from $15 an hour is obviously not a good idea, because the more and more you raise the minimum wage, the more and more the price of everything goes up. I mean, hell, it costs like $20 for a Big Mac in California at this moment in time. Go figure. Who shall we get to? Well, let's start with Kimmy.
Be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go. For healthcare, for our climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech. It was a terrible night for poor people, for the middle class, for seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO, for the truth and democracy and decency And it was a terrible night for everyone who voted against him. And guess what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him, too. You just don't realize it yet.
Well, Jimmy, there is no tax on Social Security coming, so I guess seniors, or some seniors, will obviously be happy. I mean, there's a lot wrong with what Jimmy is saying here. I mean, too much, if you ask me, because obviously, as you guys can see, because I'm still playing it in the B-roll footage, and I'm going to continue to play it in the B-roll footage, because to me, I think it's hilarious to watch a grown man cry like a woman like he is right now. But that party that you support, that Democratic Party, obviously the party of elites who live in ivory towers like yourselves. Do you think maybe that right there is the reason why it is that Trump not only won the election, but also won the popular vote too? People were just tired of it. But then again, though, some of them, I'll digress. Okay, a lot of falsities there. Number one, Trump, it looks like, got about 53% of white women. And there's also this other little bit. And that's just the exit polls, okay? These things right here will be finalized here soon. I mean, when you get them actually finalized, you'll get the more accurate numbers. I'm pretty sure white males will probably be above 60%. Black males will probably be up a little bit higher as well. The black vote itself will probably be a little bit higher for Trump as well. You guys will see this over the next few weeks, which we'll probably come back to in one of the final political videos of the year. But still, though, the numbers are still out there. We're still waiting for all of them to come in so that way we can get ourselves a proper gauge on things. So there's a lot of falsities there. A lot of women woke up this morning, or they woke up the morning after the election, absolutely thrilled that somebody was going to come in and get the price of everything down because they remember the Trump economy. A lot of women woke up very happy that there was going to be somebody who is not okay with biological men performing in women's sports, algorithmic issues. That's why I got to say it. And a lot of people woke up happy that this guy here is going to be crying again for the next 4 years because, you see, people before would get angry when Jimmy the Kimmel would just go after them, when he would just talk trash about them. Now people are just going to laugh at it because he's quite frankly sad. Like I said, I'm playing the B-roll footage for you guys again, so that way you guys can see this man cry. All right? That's why I'm playing it here in the B-roll footage, is because it's absolutely hilarious to see this man cry like a damn woman. Also, a lot more there that's wrong. Like, for example, young people, all right? Trump actually got a record amount of turnout with young people, especially young women, all right? I think I said the other day when I went to the rally at my former university that Trump was going to do a lot better with young women, and it looks like he did do a lot better with young women and also young men too. Young people. It's funny too because, see, young people are the ones who are shifting to the right, where it is that old people are shifting to the left. Makes me think that the generation might not be as bad as you might would think, the incoming generation. But then we get to someone like Colbert. Now, guys, I'm playing some of Colbert's monologue here in the B-roll footage for you guys. Colbert's a special case, in my opinion. But I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to this little bit that I'm about to play for you guys, because I think I can play it without the copyright scheme getting involved. And I'll tell you exactly what was really going on here, because it's actually sadder than you might would think when you actually look at it.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah, me neither. You know, today, some people said to me, sorry you have to do a show tonight, which is nice of them to say, but I don't have to do a show. I get to do a show tonight.
Colbert recorded that bit in an empty studio. His audience was not there. His audience was not there while he gave that little monologue. Sad and pathetic. What Donald Trump did to these people, he just straight up broke them. Just took their souls. We got one more to get to, but before I get to Jon Stewart, that reminds me, I need to play a little additional commentary on Colbert, because there were some things that he said that might make you think that it's no longer comedy to these people.
Amazing. Jimmy, you are nuts. But okay. We got Colbert here. Let's listen to his whinging rant. Once again, these people are incapable of realizing what democracy really is.
Oh, Stephen Colbert. Well,
Yes, he did. By the way, I went to the Beanie Man again because I don't know how to do share screen, which of course is a feature that will probably start sometime next year for these types of videos. But still, at the same time, I honestly believe that it's kind of hilarious to see these these quote unquote, these so-called men just quiver. I think it's hilarious, but let's watch some more.
Yeah. Crime war.
it happened again. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election.
Indeed he did.
Indeed. It's almost like you rehearsed that. The deep shock and sense of loss is enormous. Okay, but let's
I'd
look
like
at
to
the
pause. Actually, the deep shock and sense of loss is the minority position, so it's not enormous.
bright side. This way, at least, there'll be a peaceful transfer of power.
There wasn't in 2016 when the Obama administration framed Donald Trump as a Russian spy, launched a multi-million-dollar investigation against him, impeached him over these, in connection with these ridiculous claims, fabricated evidence, spied on him, and still, after the past 8 years, tried to put him in prison. You call that a peaceful transfer of power, you nut job?
Well, Tim, I've been saying for a while that these people have gassed up their audience. So there is the possibility that because they've gassed them up so much that maybe they're stuck playing the political game. That is a strong possibility. Either way, though, they obviously chose to play this game. Now, granted, yes, it's true. The transfer of power in 2016 was not exactly, how do I say, it really wasn't peaceful when you think about it, because they did set Trump up a lot. All right, the impeachments and all that type of stuff there. And then, of course, they love to go ahead and just point back to 2020, 2021. But yet, if I remember correctly, a lot of things happened that election that would make you think that maybe Trump not legitimizing that election was justified. But for the moment in time, I'll digress. Let's get back to it.
Mike Pence, Ali Oxenfree. All day yesterday, I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity.
Maybe you should question your beliefs in the crackpot lies you disseminate.
The more and more I see Colbert, the more and more I miss Jay Leno. Let me explain something to you guys really quick about Jay Leno, and we'll talk about Stewart after this next part. Jay Leno hit both sides of the aisle. Now, look, let me say this. You can be on the left and be funny. You can be on the left and joke about us conservatives, us right-wingers, and we will laugh. We will actually find it hilarious. The creators of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they're not conservatives. They're more libertarian, and I know that they probably voted for Harris, and I know they voted for Biden, and they didn't vote for Trump, but still at the same time, the stuff that they put out is hilarious, in my opinion. It's still funny. Unlike that show Family Guy with Seth MacFarlane, that show just wasn't ever funny, in my opinion. You can be on the left and still be funny. You can even joke on us. I remember getting into it with a person I know very, very well who's on the left. They said at one point in time, your favorite actor was Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro has never been my favorite actor. Okay, first and foremost, that right there was already a lie. You just don't like him because he hates Trump, dude. Robert De Niro had not been in a good movie since about 2010, 2011. Don't really care for him. Martin Sheen is a guy who I don't agree with anything politically, and I personally prefer Martin Sheen films to Robert De Niro films. I don't agree with anything Al Pacino says politically, but of course, I think Al Pacino is a phenomenal actor. It's the minute they decided to get political and start voicing their dumbass opinions that people began to get upset with him. But just to say it right now, I was never really and truly on that train of liking somebody. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing when you talk about Joe Rogan, for example, whom, by the way, did ultimately endorse Trump at the very end. A lot of people think I don't like Joe Rogan because of his previous stances. No. Joe Rogan lost me during the whole Ronda Rousey bit. That's the real truth about Hollywood actors. A lot of these people had already killed their credibility long before Donald Trump came around. And no, Rogan's not a Hollywood actor. He's definitely a celebrity, though. But I'm pretty sure you guys can now see where I'm coming with this right here. A lot of these people, the minute they got on social media, that right there is when they actually began to lose their credibility, which does coincidentally coincide with Trump getting on Twitter back in 2009, 2010. But still, though, even then, he was not very, very political, but everybody else was. That's when you began to really start losing people. Yeah, I agree with everything that Tim said, and you're probably thinking that maybe they wanted to do this for comedic purposes, but who the hell really finds this funny outside that very, very small handful of audience members who are clapping because the applause line above tells them to freaking clap? Nobody finds it entertaining. You should go back to what you were doing before, literal comedy. Which, by the way, I never thought that Colbert was talented either. I mean, at least when Jimmy Kimmel, and I mentioned him earlier, I mean, at least when he was on the Man Show, he was somewhat funny. Let's not forget the Man Show. But Kimmel will have props. Kids say the darndest things. People will come on and do funny things. Stick to that instead of politics. But I did say we were going to talk about Jon Stewart. Well, let's talk about him. Once again, headers have got to be placed over this because Paramount's copyright scheme.
Gentlemen, welcome back to The Daily Show. It hasn't been completely called yet. We don't exactly know what all the results are going to be. Our time is running out. I do want to very quickly send a quick message to all the pollsters, the election pollsters. Blow me. I don't ever want to from you again, ever. I don't ever want to hear, we've corrected for the overcorrection of the voters. You don't know shit about shit. And I don't care for you.
We'll figure it out next time. Plus or minus, we were in the margin of blow me. Okay.
Look. Look, here's the thing. Here's what we know. Is that we don't really know anything, and that we're going to come out of this election and we're going to make all kind of pronouncements about what this country is and what this world is. And the truth is, we're not really going to know shit. And we're going to... But this isn't the end. I promise you, this is not the end. And we have to regroup, and we have to continue to fight. And
to me, like your audience, sounds to me like you and your audience both were fooled by the pollsters because you believe the pollsters, which, by the way, is going to be the ultimate theme of this video. Now, let me play this last part for you guys. Because here's how you know that the panic is really and truly beginning to set in for everybody on the left, especially the love to take it back, but you can't take it back. That right there is the real reason why it is they're doing this whole the country's not going to burn down crap. You see, the left gassed these people up. The media in particular gassed these people up so much to where they believed that the world was going to come to the end if that evil fascist Donald Trump became president. The scourge of him got elected and became president again. This attempt at trying to calm people down is just not going to work. As I have said before, the minute that these people decided that they wanted to lie and gas up their audience, which, by the way, is highly susceptible to the lies and the gaslighting, you kind of understand why it is that maybe what Mark Halperin was saying about there being the largest mental health crisis in American history could ultimately come true. Now that I got the entertainment factor out of the way, let me go ahead and tell you what I think ultimately ends up happening here. These three, including Myers and including Cooper, eventually their audiences will begin to get smaller and smaller and smaller because they decided to go against what their craft was, comedy. I say was because that's not their craft anymore. Truth be told, this Kimmel has turned to a great big giant P word. Colbert was always a P word and was never somebody to be taken serious. I mean, even though there was believe it or not, there was actually a rumor back in 2008 that they were considering having him play the Riddler and the Batman or the follow-up to The Dark Knight, which of course ultimately got scrapped and got changed. Of course, the villain became Bane. But also something else too to consider is that, hey, these people just aren't meant to be taken serious anymore. They've decided to give up comedy for politics. And of course, they're going to take a hit as a result of this. Like I said, after a while, people get tired of the political shtick. People are already tired of my political shtick. I am very, very self-aware that there are people who are not watching the content that were watching it before. Don't worry, we'll get back to, which, by the way, my content has always been political in nature. It's always been social commentary in nature, but don't worry. You'll start to see the shift that was supposed to occur in 2024. They'll start to occur in 2025. But getting back on point. But then you get someone like Jon Stewart, who at one point in time, believe it or not, 3/4 of the American people were getting their information from him. I have no idea why that was the case, but people trusted Jon Stewart as a trusted news source. When in reality, he is the one that actually ruined political discord for everybody else. I'm probably going to have a video on that in the near future. It's going to be one of those few video essays out there, how it was that Jon Stewart actually ruined political discourse and why it was that Jon Stewart in reality was actually a crapbag human being. I remember at one point in time he was working with the Trump administration on the 9/11 fund, and then of course he came out and did a little shtick for the PACT Act, which of course I found to be distasteful because they were trying to lump the PACT Act up with a bunch of pork barrel spending that Jon Stewart wanted them to have. He had to come out here and act like he was suddenly pro-veteran, when in reality the man has never really and truly ever been pro-veteran. Nobody's a bigger scumbag, in my opinion, of the three than Jon Stewart. Yes, I'll die on that hill. If you're upset about that, I don't know what the hell to tell you. But the fact of the matter is this right here. They've gassed up their audience so daggone much to believe that Donald Trump was going to lose this election, that Donald Trump wins the election in what appears to be a landslide, that now these people's credibility is fully gone. They believe themselves to be newscasters when in reality they're just comedians. Never take a comedian seriously, all right? You never take these people serious at all. They're not serious news sources, and they're not people to follow. But as I said, that audience that they have, it eventually just gets smaller and smaller and smaller by the day, and it will continue to get smaller and smaller and smaller because you guys can already see what these people are going to do. They're just going to whine and cry. Now, the three that I mentioned earlier, it's possible that Stewart and Colbert are self-aware of this, but obviously Jimmy Kimmel is not. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel the other day was saying he felt that Trump was going to come after him. Donald Trump's not going to come after him. I mean, of course, maybe if you're part of them Diddy tapes, which, of course, the Trump team is saying they're going to release once they get in office, but we shall see about that. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section of this video right here. Kind of turned into a bit of a rant, but please make sure you guys tell me what you think. Please still hit the like button. Please subscribe, and please cut the notifications bell on, and I'll see you guys later.